Computer school placement crisis.
I'm from Accra. I've not been to Kumasi before. A day over, I have to sleep over. I took my son. I was there just to tell me that the system has gone off.
Most of them are also here because they want to change their courses. They want to change day to boarding, which they chose themselves.
People have collapsed. Parents left in tears as they struggle to get placement for their wards into their senior high schools of choice. We're here from the Ghana Education Service. And Topstory is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, Gasem Cement, the nation building, Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready. My name is Evans Mensah, and the Ghana Education Service is tonight under immense pressure to fix the computer school placement crisis that has left thousands of parents and their children stranded in Accra as they attempt to get their wards placed into schools of their choice. Well, Joy News counted at least 3 cases where 2 children and 1 parent collapsed as they succumbed to the searing heat under which they had camped all day at the Independence Square today. In one case, a child can be seen lying unconscious on the bare floor as an anxious crowd desperately attempted to revive her by pouring several sachets of water on her, hoping that she was revived. The ambulance, as you heard there in the background, comes in and then manages to pick them up and send them to a nearby hospital. All 3 survived, and that has been the story today at the Independence Square, where the GS Solution Center is based, in an attempt to find solutions for thousands of parents who today thronged that area in an attempt to get solutions. Some of them have been speaking to us. We'll be hearing from the Ghana Education Service shortly on the concerns that had come up and what they're doing to fix it. This is some of the concerns.
I went for the placement. I saw it was there. That's what the Kumasi High, with aggregate and everything. They said I should come back to bring the charge for discipline formed field, and also clearing me of my school that he's coming from. And I came back. I'm from Accra. I've not been to Kumasi before. A day over, I have to sleep over. I took my son. I was there just to tell me that the system has gone off, so I should come to Accra for verification. I said, why?
Okay, so you seem to have a problem with the cancellation of the placements, which has caused you to.
Yeah, that's why I'm here now.
Okay, and have you been able to hear from any of the officials here?
I've never met anybody yet. There's no system arranging. There's nobody know what is happening. How could I? They want to commit suicide in the house? As I tell you now, I told my wife to be there, to be taking care of the guy. 11 years boy. Why? What is all that for?
I came here before 6, and before that, a relative of mine came here last week to have the problem solved. But unfortunately, he was told to come today, and because of work, I had to step in. But then, even when I came, I met over thousands of people here. But unfortunately, our problems have not been solved. And then 10 minutes after 12, exactly, we're told that because of circumstances beyond their control, we should leave and then come back tomorrow. They've not given us any assurance because of what we are seeing here. My child had she was placed, but unfortunately the parents relocated, so we had to come for a replacement.
She chose schools around the community.
Which community is this?
That is Teshi. She chose TPSS, Nogwa Secondary, as well as Orale Secondary School. But when the results came, and after she had checked the selection of group, she was rather put somewhere there around the Volta region. It's a Volta region that she herself should do what? Should choose a placement somewhere there, which is unfortunate.
Since you've been here, have you been successful in getting somebody to listen to?
No. Just see the crowd. When am I going to be attended?
Well, there is a different set of parents had a peculiar complaint, which is that for them, they went to their schools of choice. They found their names on the notice boards of these schools, which means they've been placed in these schools. They go home, they return to complete the admission process, only to discover that their names are no longer on the boards. The school says, well, we cannot explain that. You're no longer been admitted into this particular school. They found themselves in Accra trying to find solutions. In fact, in this particular case, the parent, having discovered that their ward had been selected, they've gone away with the prospectus to make the purchases required for the child to begin school. They only return to enroll the child, then to be told that they are no longer, the ward has no longer been admitted into the school.
You bought everything as requested by Infante Pimps.
A pair of leather shoes, a pair of canvas shoes, a sleeping cloth or pajamas, a white bed sheet, 3 pillowcases, 1 pair of leather sandals.
Even they have written his name on the book and they took the form that with his picture. And as at now, we went there yesterday, they said the name is not on the list.
So on Friday, you were given the prospectus?
Yes.
You went to buy the things?
Yes.
And you went on Sunday?
They said the name is not on the list, but they've written his name on the book, the big book.
You went on Sunday. It should be frustrating for you as a parent, knowing that you have gone to a school, the school had accepted that they have the name of your ward, they have given you items that you have to buy for your ward, you have gone to the market to buy those items, and then the day of reporting with a trunk, nice vehicle, long travel, and then zero.
Yeah.
Should be frustrating for you.
It's frustrated. It's frustrated. As at now, we don't know what to do. They said we should come here, so we don't know what to do.
Well, we've been attempting to get some clarity to some of the issues raised by the parents. My colleague Kamala Dom, who has been spent the whole day at the Independence Square where the GS Solution Center is, managed to get hold of the public relations officer at the GS, Cassandra Chuma Ampofo, and she gave this the following response to some of the concerns raised by the parents. Not all, though. We're still working the phone lines to get some more, because more parents have even more questions to ask. But listen to Cassandra address some of the other issues that parents have asked tonight.
They have to go there and choose the schools for themselves. So that's the situation that it's happening here, and that's what I'm trying to explain. Most of them are also here because they want to change their courses. They want to change day to boarding, which they chose themselves, right? So if you chose, we asked them to choose 1 day school. Out of the 4, they chose 5, so 1 compulsory day. And the day school, they were supposed to choose a day school that was within the catchment area, a day school that you can commute or probably take a car to the school at your own convenience. And they were educated on that. I don't know whether you remember when we started the school selections, we were even in buses educating parents, the public, on the school selection. We went round to the districts, the schools, they can testify, the schools. We went there to let them know that the 5 schools you are choosing, you can be placed in any of the schools. So if you have been placed in any of the 5 schools and then you want us to change, it is not possible. Now, if you have not been placed, go and do self-placement. If you self-place yourself into a school that is far, you can't come and tell us to change. And again, probably you will help us. The cafe attendants are not helping. They go, and because they want money, they don't even allow them to go through the list of schools online, because they want to quickly finish with one person and move to another person. So allow them, they just choose a school for them, and then the next person, because they want their money. And so they come back and said, we want you to change. But you self-place yourself. Yes, so that's it.
And now the hundreds of people who are here, what happens to them?
On Thursday, I issued a release that they were to go back to the portal and do a self-placement again. We said that all those who did self-placement from between Monday 9th and then Wednesday 11th, they were to go back and do it again, because we realized that when you self-place yourself into a school, the system picks it automatically, and then your name adds onto the school's list. But we realized that it wasn't adding, there was a problem somewhere, and it wasn't affecting. That's why they go back to the school and they are told that their names are not on their list. But that's not supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. So we told them to go back because there was a problem. It's just like somebody dropping money. I told them dropping money into your Momo account or a bank account and it doesn't reflect. Meanwhile, the person, it means that there's something in there. So go and do it again. And that's why, so most of them between Monday and Wednesday, They did it, and we told them to go and do it again, and they don't want to go and do the school again. Probably they have gotten a school that they don't want to go and change, and all of that. So these are the issues that we are having here. So many of them are here for school change. They are here for program change, which they chose the schools themselves, right? And so that's it. We have few ones that are saying that because of transfer issue, they are government workers, they have been transferred. So I've told them, one gentleman, I told him that let us have your transfer letter. That document must be added to your child's place. That's a peculiar case, and then management will look at it.
Well, thankfully, I've just been joined on the line right now by Mr. Victor Yanni. He is the president of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. In fact, almost all the public schools come under this particular umbrella. They are the heads of these schools, and he joins me on the telephone line right now. Mr. Yanni, thank you for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Mr. Yanni. Thank you for your time.
Hello. Hey, my phone, the battery is low.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. A lot of your schools, I'm sure, have been besieged in the last few days since the placements began. What has the GS told you about the problems that a lot of the parents are encountering in terms of you encounter these parents on a daily basis? What have you been told about the challenges? Hello, Mr. Yanni. We appear to have lost him. Let's try and get him back. Let's go to the central region now. Let's bring in Kodunyako. Kodunyako, who is my correspondent there, has been following a similar situation with parents' chaos on some of the schools there in the central region. Kojo, you reported earlier about the peculiar case at Infantipim where many of the parents who showed up knew that their wards had been placed there, but only came to see that the names are no longer there. Has that been resolved?
Well, partly. The resolution was just announced to me by the free SHS coordinator who came to speak with the parents. But the peculiarity of the problem is that these students were not on the list in the first place. So when the portal was opened, they went to do self-placement. So they saw Infantipim school there, and they decided to add it to their school. They got that chosen. They went to the school. The school issued a prospectus to them. The prospectus to them. They went. They bought their things, and the school told them that they should come back on Sunday with their awards. They came back only to be told that, well, there is a list from the GES, and their names are not in. So yesterday they had to spend the night in the school. Today they brought their mattresses. They said that they are going nowhere. Upon the face of the explanation by the free SHS coordinator, and then the authorities of the school, they say that, well, once they have chosen the schools, they are going nowhere. The coordinator has been trying to explain it to them and to even assist them to choose new schools, but they say that, well, the self-placement was also part of the process, and so once they have made them spend money, they've bought chop buses, they've bought mattresses, they've bought the list that they've given them. They are going to, because they come from Tamale, Wa, Kumasi, and so they do not even have money to return to. And so that's the problem that came in the morning. So the tension was escalating, and then they had to call in the police reinforcement team to come to ensure that, the things were in order. So that's really the problem at Infantipim. So as I speak with you now, some of the parents are still lingering on the school campuses.
Central Region is noted for the sheer number of high quality senior high schools. I'm sure Infantipim, it's not the only school that is suffering this challenge. What is the general situation there in the region with these schools?
Well, yes, as you indicated, there are so many people that would want their awards to go to Wesley Girls and the others. And indeed, I visited Wesley Girls. The situation was not as bad or as tense as that was of Infantipim. The problem at Infantipim was the self-placement, and it was explained to them that it was a technical error. And so those who did the self-placement or from the 9th to 11th, it was explained to them that they should ignore that, and that was what caused the problem. Beyond that, those who come from Cape Coast normally would want to choose Infantipim, St. Augustine's, and the others. They will not choose schools like, most of them will not choose schools like Ghana National College, Agri, Memorial, but other people outside Cape Coast will choose Ghana National College and the others as their first choices. So if they fail to get their first choices in front of them and the others, then it means that they are out and they should settle down for a grade C or a grade D school. And so that's what really has escalated the situation this time around.
Okay, Kojo, thank you very much. Let's go to the Shanti region now. My colleague Deborah has been following happenings in the Shanti region schools. Deborah, so what is the situation? What can you report from the Shanti region? I understand that they've had similar reports of parents having many concerns, some stranded as well.
Yes, Evans, one situation that we had is from the DGMC Senior High School. And it's by a woman named Akuya Donfe. And the daughter has gotten admission. She's been given prospectus, and now she bought everything. And this is a case where she went to the school, and she's been turned away. And so that's what happened at the DGMC Senior High School. And we've been going around also, and the confusion is not only with the students, but with the heads of institutions as well, because this is a case where they've supplied uniforms and other materials to students who submitted placement for admission. And there's a case where their admission has been nullified, but they have very difficulty. It's a hard time retrieving the materials from these students who have been turned away. So that's the situation we're having in the Ashanti region. That heads of institutions are having problems and also students having problems.
Deborah, thank you very much. And talking about heads of institutions, teachers themselves have also been complaining about what the current challenges has meant for them. Abdul Fatau is a one-star teacher in the Eastern region.
The problem that we, the teachers, are having is that the government are giving us some schools in the catchment areas, and it has become something which the government think is compulsory. Those catchment schools are made compulsory, and here in the case that a pupil said he or she want to pursue technical course, and at times the school that has been set for as a compulsory school is not a technical school, so we are having problem. Parents are on our necks, and that's why I'm here. The school that they had, they said they need technical schools, so I have to come down to make sure that I get technical schools for them. And here in the case, I don't know where to go now, so I'm in the mix. So that's my problem.
And so here the teacher there. Also, the allegations have emerged about some corruption first raised by Samuel Kuditu Ablakwa, former Deputy Minister of Education, and well, the Deputy GES Director has been responding to these claims as well. All this played out on Newsfile this Saturday as he alleges, with the complaints that we've heard about parents who say they go to the schools, they find their names there, they return only to see that their names have disappeared. Samuel Kuditu Ablakwa suggests that is as a result of computer placement manipulation. Listen to him make the allegation, and you'll hear in the background the Deputy GS Director responding to these allegations as he makes them.
He can also confirm that there was corruption. Persons could enter the system, drop somebody who has been placed at Achimota, for example, and replace the person. And we are hearing figures of 5,000 cedis, 10,000 cedis.
Is that new?
No, it's new. That particular, the ability to enter the system, change, remove somebody who's been placed, and all, it has never happened.
When I heard news about persons who were claiming they could place people in their choice schools, and that you pay this amount of money and all of that, I wanted us to be able to confirm that indeed they've been able to do it for one or two people before we could make categorical statement. Otherwise, I thought that was just 419 pure, because a lot of these things go.
It's happened before.
Oh, okay.
Even when he was the deputy minister.
Okay.
You see, it's not everything that you can come to this platform and get
I'm hearing this for the first time. I wish you brought it to attention. But let's have you conclude. I've confirmed from back-enders, insiders at the ministry, who have said that these things were going on. And the system was corrupted. People could just have access. I would say that these portions require some inquiry. We need government to constitute an investigation into these matters.
So that's Samuel Kudeta Blakwa, the former Deputy Education Minister, calling for an inquiry into these allegations. You also had responses there from the GS Deputy Director, Dr. Kwabena Bempatando. I want to go to Parliament's Education Committee now. The chairman of that committee is joining me on the telephone line right now, Mr. William Quaito. Mr. Quaito, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
You're welcome.
Yes, I mean, these developments today must have come to the attention of the committee, correct?
No. If you say it must have come to the attention of the committee, I don't know how you expect it to come. We are on recess, and if anybody will want to bring such a complaint to the committee, usually it will have to pass through the clerk and then to us. Even if, as we are on recess, if someone had done so, and we see that it is very important, the clerk will, of course, give the letter to me or summon me to Parliament and give the letter to me and ask me to act on it. But I have not had any such invitation. Neither have I had any such complaint, be it formal or informal. If I say formal, maybe some people also can choose to write directly to the chairman of the committee. And sometimes part of our own, maybe depending on the issue, we call either the leadership of the committee or we call any member of the committee who's available for it to sit on it. I have not received any such communication from any member.
When I say has come to your attention, and of course I know you're on recess, I mean as representatives of the people. I'm sure even in your constituency, what has been happening on around the placement as an individual, as a chair, would definitely have come to your attention. I'm just curious to know whether this is something that you plan to do something exactly. Whether you plan to do something, knowing what has happened already this year.
Yes, if I should tell you what I know, I would say that I've heard that at the placement center, several people are there queuing. Some go as early as about 3 a.m. to go and queue and wanting their placement to change. You see, I don't know why this is happening. If Ghanaians will be fair to ourselves, which I expect all of us to do, when students, I mean the GSS people, are supposed to fill their forms, there are rules and regulations governing the filling of the forms. As an educationist, I've had the opportunity of helping a number of students to fill their forms. In Ghana here, various schools are classified into first class, second class, third class, and so on. And so the rules are that you cannot choose 2 first class schools as your first and second choices. Okay? If you choose one of the first class schools as your first choice, depending on your capability, your belief in yourself, that this school, I'm choosing Wesley Girls, and that I'm able to make a single number, you choose Wesley Girls. Else, maybe you can go and choose another second-class school whose maybe cut-off point will be about, say, 10, 12 or something. I don't want to mention names. People might think that I'm downgrading certain schools. But the rules are there. You cannot choose 2 first-class schools as your first and second choices. What it means is that if you choose one first choice and your grades, you are not able to make that grade point, cut-off point to go to that school, automatically it follows that the second choice that you made, which is also a first-class school, some people would have chosen that as their first-class schools, and you'll not be considered. So you see that you end up going to get a fourth-class school, where your grades may be around a grade 10, 12, but because you didn't choose your second choice as a real second choice school, classified second choice school, but you chose a first-class school as your second choice, you may not be placed there. It happens several times. As a chairman of the education committee, of course, I also have a constituents. I've had more than 150 WhatsApp messages and email messages to me asking me to help people maybe get new placements.
And what do you tell them?
You see,
what do you tell them when they send it to you?
When you send it to me, I'll ask you to send the placement form to me. And then on the placement form, I'll find out the schools that you chose. And so, seeing the schools that you chose, I'll advise you that you chose, you made the choice yourself. And you have been placed in one of the choices that you made. So why do you want to change it? You are not placed in your first class school. You didn't get your second class school because the second choice school, because the second choice school is also a first class school. And the third choice that you made probably is what you have in place.
Yeah, Mr. Quaito, yes, there are those challenges with the way parents and wards fill the form. But as we've also learning tonight, there are also real challenges with the computer placement system itself. We have parents who say they go to schools and they actually see their names on the notice boards. They go and buy the things they require to enroll their child, only to return to see that their names have disappeared. I mean, you as a chair of the committee have the authority to get an inquiry into this, or get the authorities involved to try and look into what is maybe wrong with the system.
No.
Is this something that you want to do?
This is the first time I'm hearing it from Okudzeto Blakwa. The tape.
No. I'm sorry. I know about Okudzeto Blakwa. I'm talking about voices we played just before we called you of parents who told us that as well.
Yes, I'm saying that this is the first time when you called me. This is the first time I'm hearing such a complaint. All the complaints that have come to me are people wanting to change their schools that they were given. I've not had anybody complaining to me that, I had this school, I went to the school before I could come back, my name has been changed. I have not heard it. To tell the fact, I haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing it. Just about 5-10 minutes ago.
So you don't agree with the parents who say that there's a challenge with the system that needs to be fixed?
I have not seen one, so I cannot attest to it. I have not seen one.
Well,
Nobody has complained to me in that direction.
I'm telling you today, we were at the Independence Square. There were thousands of parents, in fact, more than 5,000 of them who were there with many complaints. A set of them had that complaint, that they went to the schools, saw their names, returned with the what they require to enroll, and they didn't realize that their names are no longer there. That is an issue that parents have told us, and we've heard their views tonight as well. That definitely needs looking into.
We'll have to interrogate that assertion. We'll have to investigate and find out, because I'm not aware of that. What I know is that there are so many people who are the center they're trying to change the placement that they've given to them. And others are also, of course, just trying to change from maybe a day student status to a boarding status. For instance, the ones that have sent forward for it to be changed are people in my constituency where they have been placed at Odan Senior High School. Odan Senior High School, to me, is said that it's a bit far from town. And the road that leads to that place, that school, is not so busy. And so if a student wakes up in the morning and he wants to catch a bus to the place, not until one of those trucks are ready to plow that road. And in the morning, you see that road is far off from Odan Township. And the roads are busy from the other end coming to Odan. That is when people are coming to Odan, the capital, to come and shop. They go back somewhere around 11, 12 in the afternoons. So if a student wakes up in the morning trying to go to school, there is no car plying that road, because all those cars that ply that road are from the other end. And so I have sent a message, a petition, that they should look at the number of people they are placing in Odan Senior High School as a day school. It is not good, because they will find it very difficult to get to school in the morning. First, they used to have a bus, and I know that the bus will come to town and pick the day students to the school about 2 or 3 times in a day. Now the bus is broken down. I'm trying to get my common and fix it. When they check it, it is almost about 100 something thousand.
Mr. Kweti, the challenge is what you describe in your constituency is replicated in many constituencies across the country, and that's why I was curious. As yes, you are an MP, but you're also the chair of the committee that can do something to resolve the kind of challenge you just described in there for the entire country. Those areas who have the same concerns. I'm just curious whether this is something that when you return from recess you were looking into for policy purposes and changing the system going forward.
Why not? Exactly so. And the Ministry of Education itself is doing that. In the former government, they build a number of these e-blocks in various places where access to those schools are very, very difficult. The schools are completed now. They could be used as day schools, but they are not open. There are about 5 or 7 of them that have not been open, but they are completed. Why? Because getting vehicles to the place is very, very difficult. So what the ministry has decided to do is to build boarding houses and teachers' bungalows for those schools before they can be opened.
Yeah. I want to say a big thank you to you, William Kweti, who's the chairman of the Education Committee, offering solutions that committee can provide. The place to go is a GS. We've had Cassandra Trum, who speaks for them already, talk about what the challenges are. They believe also, similar to what the chairman is saying, that a lot of the people complaining tonight and the parents may have challenges with the way they fill the form and expectations that the system is not designed for, almost saying this is also a misunderstanding from parents of how the system should work. What's your own experience with it? Share with me. Newsnight starts shortly.